All right, so let's bring him in. Art, how are you?
I'm
Welcome.
doing well, thank you. Good to be back.
Thank you so much for joining again. We had such a treat with you last time. We couldn't resist invite you back on the MangoMagic series. Thank you for taking the time to join us today.
My pleasure.
So I've been asking a few of the guests, what's a bit of AI that you've done today?
Mhm. The main thing that I use, and I guess it's okay if we mention products, right? I mean, we're trying to help each other out here.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting any residuals, believe me. But the one thing that I am using quite regularly is Otter.ai. And here's why I like it, because I do a lot of virtual sessions in my workshops and things like that, and also webinars or whatever, or even community meetings for that matter. We just had a community meeting last night for a committee that I'm on, and Otter AI plugs right into Zoom, and it takes the whole thing and transcribes it. But what's really nice about it is now I've got a database of all of my different calls and things. So just the other day, I was trying to put together a little talk for somebody, a little, keynote. And there was a particular story that I've told over and over again in a lot of my workshops. And I know the story inside and out, but I just was curious if Otter AI could help me crawl through my stuff, because I've loaded up stuff from probably 5 years ago already. And I just asked it, hey, pull out the little thing about the bolt cutter story that I tell, and summarize for me what are the main points and what are the key takeaways. And for this
Okay.
particular audience, what is it that they would want to know about it? Why would they care? And boom, 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 it put it together. Now, I did not use that verbatim. We never should do that. Don't ever trust your AI. But what's good about it is my stuff, and it was able to put it together in a way that I could then take that and use that as my outline and just remind myself, because every time I tell it, it's a little bit different, or there might be certain type of takeaways. So that's one way. And the interesting thing, one more thing about it, is it's smart enough to know the type of things you're doing. So we've been working on something in our community about some changes we want to do to the rules and regulations. And it noticed that for one of the meetings that I was on, and it said, hey, in the sidebar, it said, hey, this is after the meeting, would you want to know what other communities have said about these particular rules? So
Really?
now it didn't tell me the communities, it didn't share proprietary information, but it knew enough to ask me that and start helping me toward doing that. So I've gotten in the habit of loading everything up in there, casual conversations or whatever that I might have. And in Zoom, it's known because it's told to the participants that they're being recorded. So that's the big one for me right now.
Wow. And you can do all that inside Otter?
Yeah, I could do all that stuff in Otter AI. Yeah. Yep.
That's pretty
It comes
cool.
out of the box like that.
There you
It's
go.
reasonably priced. So everybody send me your residual checks.
Yeah, we've been using Fireflies forever, and
Yep.
I love it for that. It's just a database, and so I met with someone a little while ago that I hadn't talked with in 2 years, 18 months or something, ages. And so
Yep.
during the call, he's like, we've met. I'm like, oh, okay. And I quickly checked, and I had the summary. I'm like, yeah, well, I remember that now, right? Super helpful.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
so
Great.
so you were playing around with that today, Otto?
Otter AI. Yeah, well, yeah, I was just using it yesterday, and on a call earlier today, I had that, so that I can go back and take a look at the notes.
All right, cool. So in your day to day, you do a lot of like sales frameworks and sales trainings and coaching teams to, or as the thing, team sales development. There you go.
Mhm, mhm.
And so, do you find that the information that you're getting from Otter and your books and all of the other things, have you got some ways that you combine it all to create materials, or is it mainly for your reference so that you can improve your pitch or improve your
Um,
manipulations?
yeah, I'm using it to improve what I'm doing so that I can capture the information and refine it, make sure that I'm drawing from the vast store of information that I have, which I'd have to sit there and try to recall. So it
Mm,
helps me just to let me go back. Another example is that there was something that was said, and I really could not remember what was said like 3 months ago or 6 months ago. And I just asked it, hey, there was a certain conversation with a certain person, and we talked about, I think it was what time a certain meeting was that we were setting up already, next month. And it did that. So, but it is for the development. I have on my website, and everybody can check it out, teamsalesdevelopment.com. thanks to the Many Mangoes team, I have an AI on my website. So Many Mangoes set that up for me, and it says ask TSD anything, ask team sales development anything, and that has the content of my book as well as a bunch of my webinars that I've done. So it's like, what would Art say about if I'm stuck on an opportunity, how can I make it go forward? Or what does the book say about how we should look at stakeholders that are blockers? Those types of things. And it draws from, once again, the vast store of many of my webinars and things. And it's all right on my website. So it's like, it's as if you were talking to me, but even better because it takes it over all these different touch points. Now you can't ask it to print the book out if you want the full book. And by the way, I'm speaking about my Making Seamless Sales book. But if you can't ask it to print the book out, but it's just like you can query the book. And by the way, I have a glossary of about 12 or 15, I don't even know, it might be 18 pages glossary in my book of terms. So if anybody's in sales or new to pre-sales, they can go to my website and just ask questions like you're asking me and tapping into my 25 years of sales enablement experience.
That's awesome. Have you ever found yourself chatting with it to find stuff on the book?
Yeah, I do. Well, I've tested it out a few times, so it was more in the vein of, is it going to answer in the way that I like? And you know, when we were working together at first, it was, I think, pulling some things maybe from the outside, and we're like, no, we want it to be just the things that I've done. So we locked that down a little bit, and that worked out great because it specifically covered only things that were in the things that we loaded up into it. By the way, I need to get you some more stuff. I've got some more things to load into it.
I'll bet you do. You got busy tapping fingers. So what else? So what's another AI tool that saves you time?
Well, the one that I'm not using yet, but I'm helping sales teams with the ability to use it is in my sales methodology. We have a full-blown opportunity management sales methodology and an app. It's both in Salesforce and in Microsoft Dynamics. And the beauty of the app is it implements the full methodology, which is all the way from hello through commission to renewal to expansion. And it covers all those things, but inside the CRM system, and it is Salesforce and Dynamics both, as the salesperson is going through and entering the information into the app that supports the methodology, each change of stage of the sales process, it records the key information, such as what was the state of qualification, what did we know about various things. There's 9 key criteria. And every time the stage changes, the sales stage, either forward, backward, if it skips, whatever, it records what that looks like. So it's taking a snapshot of that. And what that allows is teams to go in there and use something like Microsoft Copilot or Salesforce AI to go in there and mine that data. So what the app is doing is leaving cookie crumbs of various opportunities and what it allows sales teams to do. And I don't have this programmed in there yet. Frankly, the AI tools inside these CRM systems are just starting to come somewhat useful. So I think it's going to be a little while yet before it can be fully utilized. But the breadcrumbs are in there. So you could go in there and, for example, say, hey, I worked on this deal and I'm kind of stuck. What did other people do when they were at this sales stage?
Oh, that's pretty
what
cool.
did their snapshot look like to see, is there a key piece that I'm missing? Or you could ask it things like the deals that moved quickest through the sales process. What were the key attributes at each stage? And that can become a checklist for you to say, all right, well, I got to make sure I have, the relevant executive at this stage, or I have to make sure that I understand, do they have the ability to fund the project at this stage? So those are some of the criteria. Now, as I say, I did not program that in there yet, but the CRM systems are on the verge of allowing, a company to do that if they've implemented the app, and certainly some third parties. The partner I use that has created these apps for me, they're looking at doing some of those things. So I think it's going to have a whole new industry of boutique, solutions to tap into some of the data that's in there, not just mine, but in general, to where there will be more apps coming out that are AI specific to make it do things you want it to do.
That's it. That's very cool. Like to be able to go in and say, "Hey, the deal's stuck. What worked well?" And then it gives you custom advice for that. Hey, I noticed you're missing this stakeholder. That's pretty. That's pretty handy. It ties into almost what we were talking about before, the anti CRM, right? Where you can
Hmm.
just talk with it, right? And it has the data. It's got all the
Hmm.
fields. It's got all the stuff that we don't like filling in anyway. But if you have a
Yeah.
way to talk to it and it can actually help you progress a deal, that's a
Hmm.
relationship manager. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
that's something that actually could
Yeah.
be helpful for
Well,
salespeople, not just managers.
absolutely. And key point that you're making is it's all about the data. So here's what's going to happen is, and I remember this from the old days of taking manual stuff and putting into the relational databases originally.
Mm,
It was, if the data is bad, garbage in, garbage out. So there
mm,
was a lot of data cleansing that went on when people had manual records and they were starting to enter those back in the day when we first started to digitize stuff. Same thing's going to happen with AI. It's about the cleanliness of the data. So yes, the data is there, but is the data accurate? And AIs hallucinate to begin with, and then you have bad data on top of it, then you could really run into some trouble. So having pure data, and that means, to your point about CRMs, and later today I'm actually doing another podcast with somebody whose their theme is CRMs shouldn't suck, and it's a
I like
great
to go to that
catchphrase
one.
of that. Yeah. In fact, the book is right up on my shelf. It's one of these. Anyway, I
Very
can't
good.
tell. I think it's this one. Anyway, the point of that is that when it comes to sales people in particular, and I'm a salesperson, you're a salesperson. There's tons of salespeople listening right now. Nobody likes entering data into the CRM, but it's needed. It's a company asset. And for sharing it, for recording it, for understanding the pipeline, understanding history, which up until now we kind of had to mine it ourselves.
Mm,
All that stuff, if it's in there, it's got to be accurate, it's got to be up to date, and it's got to be objectively true. And that's the thing about the sales methodology, sales opportunity snapshot that I provide is the salespeople love using it because it helps them sell. And oh, by the way, it's inside the CRM. So they're already in the CRM. They live in the app, they live in the sales methodology that's implemented in the tool. And because it's objective to where they are actually signing up to be challenged. Why are you saying this is what it is? That means that the data is accurate, up to date, and can be relied upon. Now, when you're using the AI against that data, it's got a much better chance of being correct, or at least it's going to give you the most opportunity for it to be helpful in a way that's going to move the deal forward.
that's awesome. I really wish that existed when I was doing sales stuff. Gosh,
Yeah, I know. I
so
know.
torturous. Yeah.
It's all becoming possible now. So
Mm. So it sounds like you're dabbling quite a bit in different tools and different things, making your own stuff and doing all that great stuff. So, what's an AI tool or a thing that you did that did suck, that wasn't any good, that you're like, no, I'm not doing that again?
well, I mean, just be careful. Like we've all experimented around with Chat GPT or others, and probably in some of the earlier versions, maybe a year ago, but still, if you go in there, and one thing that I was experimenting with is that everybody's always asking me because of the different, speeches I do and sales kickoffs and whatever, to give them a bio. And I like to make the bio tailored to what their particular thing is. And I should know everything about myself, right? But just for the fun of it, I asked Chat GPT, tell me about Art Fromm, and specifically I said, tell me about Art Fromm of team sales development. So ChatGPT came out with some stuff, and it had the founding date of my company wrong. It said that I had written 2 books already, which I hadn't even finished. I was in the process of writing this book. I hadn't even published this book yet. It said I wrote 2 books. Those books don't even exist in the real world. Like it didn't even misidentify me with a book that exists. It said I had won some awards for training, enablement stuff. What it was keen on was knowing the types of things I do and knowing the category of things
Mm,
I did, but it was hallucinating about that. So I experimented with that. And then I just realized, yeah, all of us need to not trust these things. And it didn't give me that much useful information. So I just continued to do my own bios.
yeah. So this is, I think this has happened with a lot of people, particularly people who know what good looks like and or knows what the facts actually are. The concern is when you have it spitting stuff out and you don't know what a reference of good quality is, or you don't know what the facts are, and you're like, oh, that sounds pretty legitimate, right?
Yeah.
Well, so what I do is I go in and I say, okay, great, show me the source. Or in the initial prompts, say, hey, give me all of these facts and I want a column for source
Yeah.
information. And so then if it doesn't have that, or if you ask it for the source later, it's like, sorry, misspoke, that didn't happen. I'm like, okay, so give me the facts with the sources, please. And
Yeah.
usually
And that's,
it behaves.
yeah. And that's the one thing about Grok. If anybody's used Grok, it gives you the sources. And
Straight
then
away,
you can
yeah.
dig into it yourself, which is pretty amazing. One place I did use AI for the book, and by the way, you can't publish a book on Amazon that was written with AI, which is good because then you'd have a proliferation of all kinds of crap out there, right? So when you go to upload your book to Amazon, it says, "Did you use AI?" And they're testing you to say you better not have, because they do a check on it. What I did do for it though was a couple things. I fed it my chapter as I went through it, and I was trying to summarize. I fed AI my chapter, and then I said, come up with 5 bullets and put it in the form of a summary for a chapter of a book, and tailor it toward the particular outcomes that are helpful for the audience. And I said it's a sales audience, it's a pre-sales audience, that type of thing. And then I let that spit it out. And since I was limiting it to what it was looking at, it came up with something reasonable that gave me ideas. And it actually was fun. I'm like, oh wow, I actually did make some really valid points in that chapter. It was like, it helped me confirm that I was doing the right thing. And then I did not use it verbatim at all. I just used that as the talking points. The other place I definitely used it was for the glossary. So what I did is I fed my whole book into it.
Right.
And I said, what are the common terms that are used in the book that might be something that would belong in a glossary? And it came up with like 200 terms. And then I put definitions to all of them. So those types of things is where I've found it to be a real lifesaver. And you could do that, by the way, with anything. I mentioned about this thing that we're doing within our community, and I fed it the amendment that we're doing. And I said, what are the pros and cons, or what are the areas that could be a concern, and that type of thing. And that one I did let it, do some research for me and come back with, well, others like you have done it this way, or that type of thing. So there is usefulness, but the key thing is be careful about what you get back and make sure you've checked it and that it's actually correct.
Yeah, I read some of that they're starting to put some different type of space in between the letters so that people can see if you used AI. So if someone's asking you, did you use AI? Try to be honest, because they're getting creative with how they catch you out on that.
Yeah.
That's a tricky one. I like that. So you plug the whole book in and then said, okay, great, give me the glossary. That's a good one. There's a couple others that could be handy for. Excellent. So look, you've built multiple of your own applications, and so I would consider you a more advanced to sales AI person. What would you say to somebody who is maybe using ChatGPT? They're doing a few prompts here and there, but they want to do more. They know it's valuable, but they can't figure out those practical steps that they can take to actually do more. What would you say to someone like that?
Well, I mean, I'm not like the expert in the field for sure. So there's a lot of people that you can look up that are doing those types of things. But from a practical perspective, just start with caution, but try it and see what happens. Just make sure that you're not automatically trusting that it's telling you everything that's true or everything you need to know. So I think it's experimentation. Don't be afraid to see what it can do, because the more you poke at it, the more that you can realize what the possibilities are. And then there's a lot of built-in stuff in various other tools like LinkedIn and stuff like that too. So you could rely on some of the apps that are out there. And if you just want to experiment, see what happens, but be cautious.
Yeah. No, I like that. And is there sales is very much a relationship-based specialty. I like where you got to build trust, and you got to be able to be a likable human. Where do you think is the line where AI can't cross, where it'll always be Art Fromm through and through? What's the limitation there that you think you're going to maintain?
Yeah. Do we have another 20 minutes? I'm just kidding. In short, there is a lot more automation in general that's happening at the front end of the sales process. So automated demos and those types of things. And the AI is capturing how somebody's navigating through that, which is a good thing, because once a human gets involved in the sales process, Now they have all that information as a reference. Where I think the line can't be crossed with AI, unless it's just a B2C, unless it's just something that's an app, like a iPhone app or something. Maybe can be totally AI. But in the world that I'm in business to business, where it's consultative selling, where it's complex selling, where you've got to touch base with a lot of different people, I don't think the AI could ever do that. I think it's going to be a tracker, it's going to be a documenter, it's going to be a checker, it's going to be a resource that we could go back and query it as far as what we know. But that human element always has to be there. And this is a big caution, because the AI, just like social media, will tend to have people hiding behind stuff and then not go out and try to talk and try to meet. So let's not lose those social skills of genuine interest, and what's the win-win in it? How can we work together? I want to know about Isaac. I want to know about my stakeholder, not of what I can sell to them, but what are they trying to do? I don't think AI can do that. Maybe it could help with a pre-call survey or something simple like that. But when it comes to the body language and all those types of things, I don't see that you're going to be talking to a robot. I would hope not. I just hope not that it's some kind of robot that can sense the emotion and everything. I think that for a long time, we're still going to have humans involved, and that's what's going to make the experience memorable and tangible and beneficial for both parties.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be. I agree that it should stay as long as humanly possible. Humanly possible.
Yeah, there you go. That's why that phrase is there, isn't it? We just figured that out. That's been there for a long time. Why was that there?
Yeah, no, it is. It's a very exciting space, and where we're going to be in 5 years' time, I can't wait to look back on this video and see, what some of the things that are changing. So, look, I really value your views, and what you're building is really, really exciting. So, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you coming on the MangoMagic series again, and have yourself a lovely rest of your day.
Nice.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity, and thanks everybody for listening. And however I can help, I would love to do that.
Good man. Thank you so much. Okay, so you can't hear me when I jump off. So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to jump off there, keep it recording, and we'll just edit this bit.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So you're all right. Go ahead.
Some kind of plug of the book or whatever. Hi, I'm Art. Blah, blah, blah. So when I move off, then you'll have the full screen. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Isaac. Thanks, MangoMagic, for the opportunity to share some ideas. Love to hear what your thoughts are. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. It's just Art Fromm with 2 M's, or my website is teamsalesdevelopment.com. I specialize in business to business sales transformation, consultative selling through workshops, through talks, sales kickoffs, other type of keynotes. So please, let's have a chat and see how I can help you out, and we'll see what we can put in place for you to help you increase your revenue and margins and win rates and have satisfied clients. Thank you so much.